Is it worth investing all your units to do something like 100% Necropolis? Hi everybody, welcome to a topic-based video. So I want to give a shout out to Spectre. Link is in the description to Spectre's YouTube channel. He covered this particular process and as well thought process, and as well identifying some things important about doing a Necropolis run, which is similar to what I'm going to cover in this video, but I did ask him if it was okay if I kind of take the topic and change it and turn it into a different direction. And after having a nice chat with him in the comment section of that video, we're on our way to discuss it in this one. So the year is 2024 and there's been 7 months since the release of Necropolis, and well, there's been a lot of content that's come out. And Kabam have actually given out a lot of stuff for free and a lot of opportunity to get things like rank 3 7-star materials, like spring cleaning, like Winter of Woes, like Act 8.4, like Omega Days. But all of them really have a common theme, and that's unit investment. One thing that I wanted to do for this video is look at other areas. Now I did miss from this Winter of Woes, rewards, and also spring cleaning, but it comes part and parcel of stuff that's given out for free rather than, well, you could say with Winter of Woe, with unit investment or revive investment. But I feel because these things are put out, there's these four are what I'm going to be covering in the video to kind of compare off against. So right off the bat and right out the gates, it is a potential estimate that you will spend, well, again, it's going to be debatable on this one, but I'll go with 24,000 units to fully 100% Necropolis from a completion standpoint right the way through to 100%ing. I'll put a link to this in the description if you want to check this out, but I'm just using it as a tool for kind of a visual aid to things. Omega Days even, it's something that you have a high unit investment to get all the milestones. We'll come and talk about those particular milestones in a minute. Act 8.4, or the last part, which allows you to 100% Act 8 in general, gives you more in the way of high take-home meta rewards versus low investment. Debatable about the Behemoth, I'm not going to say that right, fight, Behemoth, whatever. But as well, you're kind of like investing a low amount of like units. I mean, look, if you look at now, Act 8.4 is the only one you need to do. You are only spending on energy refills because the content is doable. It's low effort or low investment versus maximum take home. And the Banquet event each year, which of course I do tip this year to be extra spicy, will largely see you take home a large amount of things. Now, from an initial standpoint, last year 9,000 units was enough to get you to the back of the milestones, which got you 7 stars. Yes, there were no rank 3 7-star materials, mainly because people were investing into the Necropolis grind. But if you wanted anything that was kind of high end, you had to invest your units. The reason I mention it this time, and yes, because it did not have any of those high meta rewards or sort of obtainable, is that it is the highest take home, but this year we'll likely see a lot more of the depreciation, and that's the big word at the moment, and 7 months since the content's been released is the word depreciation. So one thing that is important to me as a non-spending player of the game is, where do I make gains? How do I make gains in the most easiest way possible? And look, people will say you've got to work hard to get stuff, and that's the point I will come to at the end about Necropolis, about putting in the effort and why content is important still to do. But also there are other people in this community that don't have as much time as, say, other people, like people that are working, have kids, work long hours, or at least don't want to have a game just take up so much of their time that they have to farm extensive and copious amounts of units. You want to be able to go in game and go, okay, with the allotted time I have today, which I only have X amount of time, what can I get done? From a story mode investment time frame, it's like low effort investment versus maximum rewards. You can get a substantial amount. That mainly is with a full act 100%ing as opposed to the chapter, but still the point is that you can grab a lot for very low effort. And yes, it's one and done. Omega Days, similar to, I think it was a 7-star celebration event, and slightly similar to the commissary. No, commissary, I'm saying it wrong. My joke was I said it commissary because it was a bit of a misery. The commissary type event is that these events come from time to time. I think there's about 2 a year, especially with how last year went, because we had 7-star celebration and then the commissary around about September time. So those 2 events there. We've had this one here, and I think that we'll have something, you know, September-ish similar to this, and you could see like a bit of a change. We'll probably do a comparison then and kind of like take into consideration what was then what was here for Omega Days and what is going to be in the future as to, again, unit investment versus take home. And as this is something of high unit investment, it's either you spend to grab right to the end of the milestones or you don't. And of course the end goal for this is like to grab as much as possible for little or no effort, and also on a budget depending on the type of player you are and how many units you have or how much money you have as well. There is something interesting about Omega Days in that it put a new precedent for 7-star awakening gems and 7-star signature stones. Yes, these are things that are, well, specific to the Omega side of things, but it's a first. So will this see July 4th deals have something similar? Which I didn't mention in this one, but again, it's the same premise of depreciation on a similar value to the likes of Banquet event. And Command will always pivot things in a certain way when it comes to deals. You're probably investing low amounts of units to grab more than you will over the case of like 2 years. Like, okay, great. 20,000 units, 18,000 units gets you a rank 3, a rank 2 to 3, 7-star gem. Then the next year it will be lower. Then a year after that it will be lower. So low spend, maximum return. So is the point to say, well, Rich, are you trying to say in this video just save the good chunk of a year to grab all the spicy rewards that a full effort, a month's worth of effort into Necropolis would be like? No, not at all. However, though, if you are having or finding a means to make gains with little to no effort or something you're most comfortable with, then of course explore that. So if it's easier for you to say 1 hour a day, I can farm a load of units from Arena and I'm going to do that, then do that, because it could mean by the end of the year, by the Banquet event, you could take home something good. I'll give you another example. My wife plays Marvel Contest of Champions. In the last month, Kabam have made it so her progression is cavalier with having to do little to no effort. She's a very casual player of the game that will play around about 30 minutes a day. In those 30 minutes, you can probably get about 30 units. If she does that for 365 days of a year, starting from the Banquet event ending, and then starting again the previous year, or sorry, starting and then 365 amount of units, 30 units a day, then guess what? She has 10,950 units that can be invested. She's up to 5,000 units right now, and she has another 7 months to get a further 5,000 units. I'm not making this up. It's all true. In that time, she has got 1 7-star, and just in an upcoming video is opening up a second 7-star, all by having little to no effort for 30 minutes work a day. Again, let that sink in for a moment. For anybody that says they're unable to make gains, it's surprising, you know, to the extent of what Kabam do actually give out. But that's very low effort. And these meta rewards are really important for those that are Paragon, trying to make that jump up to Valiant, or at least going and looking at content and going, I need to do this content, or should I do this content in order to make further gains in the game? Let's start in the video on this particular topic. Is it worth 100%ing Necropolis at this moment in time? Yes. Will it be long term? No. The kind of fall off that I've seen in this in 7 months since the content went live when it comes to like targeting rewards is gonna be a harsh one. I think harsh one with unit investment. But if you're willing to do it now, you're gonna benefit from having, and especially for free to play, there's not so much of a amount of rank 3 7-star materials. You could have invested less units in Omega Days and got a better choice of more rank 3 7-star champions if you had not 100% in Necropolis. Yes, doing Act 8.4 should be a priority, and any extra units from after 100% in Necropolis, which I think by about, but I have to see with July 4th deals, but I think from about September to at least December time, you'll see a fall off of depreciation of the rewards. Or It will be about going, well, nowadays I just want to get that Maestro, and that may be the target, because you may want that 7-star Maestro. You may as well say to yourself, I want that extra mastery point. And that's one thing that's still putting that particular mode in some sort of like high regard to go grab. Is that mastery point making a difference? Debatable. But I think there's kind of good opportunity there, especially if you want that Guillotine 2099 piece and you don't, no, Guillotine Deathless piece, and haven't got it yet, then of course that is going to be a chase item, even from a completion standpoint, that might be of interest to just do, I don't know, one grind through at the cost of 4,000 units. I've estimated as 4,000 units per like path. That's a rough estimate. It could cost you a lot less, and that's something to bear in mind. As your rank 3 7 stars taken into the content, I was using 6 stars at rank 5 and a rank 2 Shuri. Now, if I could have rank 3 that champion and using rank 3s in general, I could maximize more damage, so therefore it wouldn't cost as much based on, in that time frame of getting into the fight, how much damage you can do before everything is by. So there is opportunity there. I think there's definitely exclusive rewards that still make it interesting. The not having 7-star signature stones and 7-star awakening gems will cause an impact of interest. That's something else to bear in mind. And yes, do things like Act 8.4, Act 8 kind of grind first, because hey, it's one of the most easiest investments to maximum take home. But until say September, maybe even December time, when the rewards that you chase, which are the rank 3 7-star materials, fall off, it is definitely worth doing. You just have to say to yourself, is it something that I have got either with a tolerance level, because there's a high tolerance level to get it done, and you will have to play the Grandmaster again. So yes, do make that decision. But yeah, I do think it's worth doing, and I think as well from a completionist standpoint, like the feeling that I got in January when I spent the entirety of the month farming that content. Yes, it was tough. Yes, it cost a lot of my own personal time to do other things that I wanted to do, and especially for the YouTube channel. But I had to take that time off to do it, because there was no other option at the time to become a Valiant player, and I had to do it. Like, I really had to set that challenge and do it, and I'm proud of myself for doing it. And I think that's something that a lot of players, even I'm seeing recently, Killer Beezy 100% in Necropolis. I think my friend Fist did it as well, within, you know, a high intensive grind factor to it. So well done to anybody that is still sticking out to do the content. Of course, it's not the easiest way, because people would go for the easiest way to grab a rank 3 7-star materials and rank 3 7-star in general, because we've been giving out so many free things, and also there's been other events which I mentioned earlier. But I think because we do content, it's always nice to get that content done. Even if I don't personally like it, I'll still do it, and I'll spend copious amounts of units to do it. But at least I tackled it, and at least I can say I did it. And I think that's the great thing about MCOC, is saying, hey, it was rough. It wasn't the best way I did it, but I did it. In any case, what are your thoughts on the matter? Would you go in a different direction? Would you not do Necropolis? Are you still not doing Necropolis? Or are you planning to do more paths? What are your thoughts on the matter? Put it in the comments. Check out some other content. And I'll see you more on MCC at Sea, the series of me just on a cruise boat. Anyway, bye-bye.